the book of Esther is all about coincidences. Coincidences being the hand of God, if you have the eyes to see it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about all these coincidences. Everybody's like, oh, that's just a coincidence. You've overlooked something very stunning.
Yeah.
Especially when there's like 17 of them in a row.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did you manage to not see that?
Yeah.
Your decipherability gene is like off the mark.
Well, how about like when the FBI loses evidence and it's always it helps Biden or a Democrat
Well, that is just a coincidence.
Yeah.
I mean,
every mistake is for one side.
those are coincidences. Yeah, I think present day, you're either a conspiracy theorist or you're a coincidence theorist. And only one of them uses their brain.
Yeah, that's really a good way to put it.
And
then when all the conspiracies come true and you don't go, what a coincidence. What about that?
Yeah. And I think just chalking things up to, oh, that's a coincidence, it keeps us from needing to go to the trouble of thinking.
Yeah.
And it keeps us from needing to go to the trouble of considering things that are pretty freaking uncomfortable to consider. Because people love to live in the coffin of their comfort zone. Like, I think
I
the
love
most...
coffin of the comfort zone.
That's
great.
not where life is. It is, like, cool, you might technically have a pulse, but you're not alive if you're just living in the coffin of your comfort zone. But you get
life is out here where the risk is.
100%.
And the pain. That's where you learn.
And that's where you grow. Like a comedian, they get on stage for the first time. Like, it's a 10 out of 10 discomfort. Or you're trying a new joke. That's uncomfortable. Or you're asking the girl out or the guy out who, like, you think is out of your league. You're getting uncomfortable. Like, nobody has ever sat there in their comfort zone and said, I feel really alive now.
That's true.
We feel alive and we grow when we're outside of our comfort zone. Yet I think and I would say this is a mind program where for decades they've been trying to convince Americans and people around the world, comfort is your friend. If something's uncomfortable, it's going to be bad for you. And, self-responsibility, don't worry about that. Just like depend on the government. And I think that's what keeps people weak because
it sure does.
If they convince themselves, I have an allergy to discomfort, then they're going to keep themselves in the coffin of the comfort zone, which means they're going to keep themselves weak. Because we get stronger when we're willing to be uncomfortable. We get stronger when we're willing to say what we know is true, even though it might get us canceled. It might go against the grain.
Absolutely. Because when you break, you get scar tissue, which makes you stronger.
Absolutely.
You don't get stronger without breaking.
Absolutely.
And then learning how to put yourself back together. You just don't grow without that. And you don't do none of that without risk. And people who think they're so happy, I hate happy. I just hate that happy. I hate that.
We should just clip that there. I hate happy.
Yeah.
Roseanne Barr.
I'm anti-happy.
The happy people, I'm like,
Yes.
you are blind, deaf. You're just not even here.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I can't stand is people who talk about forgiveness all the time because they ain't nothing but guilty.
Yeah.
I want to put that together. They ain't nothing but guilty because not one of them ever talks about asking for forgiveness for something bad they did. They never say that.
Yeah.
They're always hiding some shit.
They are.
Excuse me.
But how beautiful is it when you see someone actually own up, take responsibility and say, hey, I did this.
Right.
I'm sorry. It is so powerful.
I wouldn't know. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
When have you seen that?
That's a good question. I do it sometimes in my life.
I've
avoid
done
it other
it once
times.
or twice.
But like there's a great book called, what the hell, by Jocko Willink. The hell is it?
I can look it up if you...
Extreme Ownership.
Okay.
Good leaders take extreme ownership. If something goes wrong, even if they themselves didn't do it, they're the first ones to raise their hand and say, that's my fault. Maybe I didn't lead my people correctly. Maybe I made a bad decision. But when you see someone do that, like, first of all, that's so uncomfortable for them to do. If someone's just committed to living in the coffin of their comfort zone, they're not going to do that.
No, they're not the balls.
But someone with actual courage and they've got a service mindset, they'll get uncomfortable. They'll own it. But the cool thing is, how much more do you trust someone when you've watched them own a mistake they've made, they've taken responsibility, they've apologized? You actually trust those people. But when you have a dipshit like Hunter's dad, where, like, cool, he's ruined everything under the sun, the Afghanistan withdrawal, the border inflation, $20 million accidentally in his bank account, take zero ownership, and you don't trust him.
Right.
For good reason. You don't trust him.
Yeah, for real good reason.
Yeah.
Not the Dems, though.
No.
They're like, at least he's not Trump. At least he didn't try to make peace with the Jews and the Arabs.
Yeah. What do you like
That's
best?
half of our fundraising, for God's sake. He's got to go.
Yeah. What do you like best
about
about?
warmongers?
They are.
They're haters.
They are.
And then they put the worst thing they can find out there, which, manipulators of children, they got to go. They got to go.
I don't know how anything but the death penalty is appropriate for that.
Right.
I'm not necessarily a huge death penalty guy, but just when someone uses children.
I don't believe the state should kill them. I say general population in prison.
You used to say make him marry Tom Arnold, is what you said.
Right. No, that was Osama bin Laden.
Whoever. You have to live with fucking Rob Reiner for 6 months.
Oh, yeah. You have to have dinner with Rob Reiner.
Listen to him talk.
Or Stephen King.
Yeah.
God.
He's gone off the loony end lately,
He's
hasn't
nutty.
he?
And then I found this thing. He wrote a book, and it's about... it was Dr. something, and it's this doctor who gets these kids, check this out, and he drains their spirits, where that's his food, his loosh. He gets children and makes them captive, and then drains their spirits to make him stronger and younger. Hello, adrenochrome.
Right.
No wonder he's all jacked up over Trump.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Have you seen his tweets?
Stephen King?
Yeah.
I hear, like, when I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, a lot of times they'll talk about it. So I've heard about some of them, but they're nutty.
Yeah.
I mean, here...
Trump is the worst thing since... Oh, my God.
There are people really brainwashed. I used to be a little brainwashed about Trump. Like, back in the 2016 election, I'm not proud to say it, but I didn't vote. If I
didn't either.
Did vote, I would have voted for Trump. And my thought was just like Hillary, who you're pictured with right here, which is probably evidence of a lot of crimes. I might burn that picture if I were you.
Oh, I gave a ton to the Dems back then.
Did you?
Yeah. I gave them all my hard-earned
Lifelong Democrat
dollars.
over here.
And
my parents, too.
One of the beautiful things about you, and to me it's a great quality about other people, is someone who's willing to change their mind.
Yeah. That's life.
It's a rare commodity nowadays, but it's a sign of strength. It's so simple, but it really is a sign of strength because it's so rare.